Hey guys, Coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. The Great Void skills have been released. They've been given to the clan leaders. I believe some of the clan leaders were received like this link for these skills. For one of the forms the boss is going to have. It's going to have multiple forms, at least one extra from what we see. And the Great Void, this new boss, will be really challenging, it seems, but there are already some solutions possible. So let's go and have a look at the skills, and I'll tell you about good solutions for this without even, actually seeing it the boss. Just because of the skills that the boss is going to have, we already see some solutions through champions and their kits. So this is going to be the Viper form, completely different than what I thought with tentacles and stuff from what it looks like the Void. But the Viper form, Viper is like a snake, right? So this is going to be a little bit different. But regardless, it is what it is. So this new boss, the Viper form, will have an A1 that will have the possibility to do like an extra attack if it kills one of your allies. So you'll have to be very careful to not have low health allies, and will also have a chance to apply fear, true fear, and all of those crowd control skills that you see. So it's going to be important to have a block debuff buff available to your whole team throughout the fight, just because of that 50% chance. It's quite high, and you don't want to have your champions break their skill rotations if it's going to be a clan boss where you kind of have a rotation going, which I assume that's what they want us to be building towards, but we'll see on how this works. This boss also has an A2 skill, attacks all enemies. This attack deals single target damage to each target individually rather than AoE damage. So champions that mitigate AoE damage will not work for this one. So it's single target damage that you'll need to worry about. So before attacking, places a hex debuff and 100% heal reduction debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Instantly activates all poisons on all enemies for 2 turns. Then transfers all debuffs from this boss to all enemies under hex or heal reduction debuffs placed by this skill. Increases the clan boss turn meter by 5% for each debuff transferred. So you don't want to have the boss basically use this skill. He's going to get boosted in turn meter, giving him more turns. He's going to just blow up any poisons you have on yourself. He's going to be applying heal reduction, so negating any chance of you to heal back, and applying hex to do even more damage. So it's quite insane on what this A2 does. And if you have a look at the A3, attacks all enemies before attacking, heals all buffs from all enemies except continuous heal buffs. So he will be able to steal your block debuff buff, for example. Places poisons and poison sensitivity, then he blows them up with the A2. So you see already the problem there. Increases the duration and then instantly activates poison debuffs. He becomes such a threat for poisoners, and he's also a poisoner himself. Big problems already that we can see from the normal teams that we're used to making for the normal clan boss with high poison teams. So those poisons will be throwing back to you, and then those will be blown up. So very problematic already how you're going to be using the A2 and A3 from the boss and how you're going to be protecting from that. So Unholy Metamorph transforms the new clan boss into its ultimate form and removes all buffs and debuffs. This is very important. We don't know when the boss will be transforming into this new form. If it's going to be a set rotation, how Amius works, where Amius, after 3 or 4 turns that he does, I believe is when he transforms. So if this boss is also going to be transforming in that kind of rotation, we're going to be in trouble, okay? Unless we have a rotation of our skills as well. If we have a look at his other passive, whenever an enemy is killed, places a necrosis stack on all enemies. Necrosis stacks cannot be resisted or blocked. Necrosis stacks can only be removed by reviving dead allies. If multiple champions are revived, the number of necrosis stacks removed is equal to the number of champions revived. So necrosis is probably going to be some kind of nasty debuff that you want to have removed immediately, and it's only being removed from revivers. It's already having the idea behind either keeping your whole team alive throughout the fight so you don't have any necrosis, or making sure you have either revivers or revive on death. I believe should work the same way in terms of being a revival to remove those necrosis stacks. So I wonder how that is going to go. Then another passive, revived enemies will have 25% less health and 25 less turn meter, already making it like, please don't let your champions die. It makes it so much worse, I believe, for you to have your champions be dying. So whenever the new clan boss kills an enemy, removes any block active skills debuffs from itself. So you already see that the boss can be block active skills, so that A2 and A3 can already be blocked. That is where the first strategy comes into mind when seeing this new boss. Okay, block active skills champions are gonna be key here. Revived enemies will have 25% less health. Yeah, that's the one. So also denies. Oh, okay. At the start of the new clan boss turn, transfers all poison debuffs on the new clan boss to all enemies. All transferred debuffs last for 2 turns, so you can't poison this boss. He's constantly going to be transferring them to you. Even if you lock out his A2 and A3, he will still be transferring the poisons to you, although he won't be exploding them onto you. I guess that is fine, but I still see the problem of just the poisons not being able to stick on the boss. What you can do is use poisoners such as Nishak, who when his bombs explode, the poisons are protected, so the boss will not be able to transfer them over to you. So that's one way to do a little bit of damage through poisons. Also can deny one enemy revival attempt. Multiple enemies are revived at once, will deny one random revival. And then finally, his passive is, the final passive is all about how he's immune to petrification, stun, freeze, all of the good stuff, all of the good debuffs, he will be immune to them. And will also be limiting damage coming in from max health skills such as poison, HP burn, normal, enemy max health skills. He's going to be limiting also War Master and Giant Slayer and smite damage, and that will scale on the difficulty on the boss. It's described right there exactly on how this is going to be split throughout everything, but I'm totally okay with that. Honestly, I'm okay with all those limits on the final passive. The thing is, the real important champions, the strong champions coming into play here, guys, it's gonna be the ones with the block active skills. And if we have a look into the game, some champions that might become useful, really useful, it's gonna be Carnage as an example. You need 5 months of perfect win streak in the Cursed City hard mode to get Carnage. He has a protected block active skills on his A3. This is huge, just making it so that you can have no way of this being removed. You don't care about accuracy for this one. I think it's the way to go, honestly, with Carnage. And here the OG Rush Card the Tower will also become useful because of this. Places block active skills debuff and a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted. This is very cool because your Rush Card won't need accuracy for this one, and Rush Card will also have the block damage buff available. We don't see anything in the boss's initial form, the Viper form, where it says block damage will not work. So Rush Card basically becomes MVP. If you don't have him, it's gonna make your life much more difficult. Other champions that have block active skills are available. There's just a ton of champions with that. But I'm just giving you the legendary examples. And like one of them is also Ramantu. Ramantu also has a block active skills debuff. Although I'm not sure how this is going to work on the boss, because the boss also has a passive skill. So it's going to be a little bit weird on how he's able to apply this on bosses. I've never actually tried using Ramantu because there's no bosses which allow block active skills, but not block passive skills. So I'm not sure how this is going to go over testing, but I guess if we ever have a chance on the test server to test this new boss, this will be it. And if we have a look over on the Hell Hades side, okay, if we have a look on the list of champions with block active skills, there's so many champions that can be used. One of my favorites is, of course, Phoenix, who is a champion that has it. Aothar has it. He also has poisons. There's just so many choices with block active skills that you'll have available as a player. Even Bellower can be used. Elthland, the Golden. I don't know about other options right here. Woad Painted has it. Yelagrina, Scion. There's so many champions here that have it that are not legendary. So there are options for all players out there. But it will be basically a necessity, and it will come into mind like, okay, when we have this new boss coming, are they ever going to do like a fusion with a champion that has block active skills in their skill set, so that everybody can basically have a fresh start with a champion with that kind of skill set available. There's also other champions that can be useful in case you don't have that, but it is very much so about the block buffs. block debuff buff, okay? One of them is Alatrion, which I do not have. Alatrion has a protected block debuff buff. Also, if you're using the protected set, that's another way to protect the block debuff buff and all of your buffs. So your boss, that boss will not be able to remove your buffs when he does his crazy skills. But the whole point, I think, is to basically be locking out the boss with the block active skills, and that will be the strategy for this new Viper form. Similarly to how we have some strategy for the clan boss, where basically you want to be having like a rotation and then also applying poisons, defense down, weaken. This new boss will also have that. We'll have to find a rotation between block active skills, and if the boss is constantly changing forms, we'll also have to make sure that the rotation stays intact throughout, which will be near impossible, I think, if the boss is switching out, unless the boss is like a boss where once you kill this form, then this new form emerges, then that's going to be a little bit different. But remember, this is a clan boss, so all of your clan will be attacking. I am guessing the new form will be similar to how the normal clan boss is, where once you start beating up the clan boss and you drop him from 50% health, that's when the affinity changes. Although if we have a look on the skills that they've shown here, it shows the affinities here on the top. So the affinities of the boss will change as well. It doesn't state anything on how the skills will be changing based on affinity. So like how the normal clan boss works. So with each affinity, the boss does different things, and also on under 50%, it does different things. So that's another form for the clan boss, although it doesn't change during the same fight. This will be a change during the same fight, which I wonder on how this is going to happen. It doesn't say though at all when this new transformation will become the ultimate form. So just through the wording though, the wording here, the ultimate form means it's going to be the Viper form and the ultimate form. So at least, hopefully, just two forms that we'll have to deal with. So if form number 1 can be beaten basically with a set of champions with block damage, block debuffs, and block active skills, you are pretty much set to go, okay? But if that rotation has to also survive on the boss's ultimate form, then that's going to be a different discussion, okay? We'll just have to see when the boss launches, and I also want to see what kind of rewards there's going to be, what kind of cooldown the boss is going to have. Is it going to be a daily boss, a weekly boss like we have right now, something longer? I just want to learn more information, and I guess by the start of December, that's when we're going to get more and more information. But that was it, guys, for the sneak peek on the new boss. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.